Hello everyone, welcome back to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we'll be learning how to cut the inner that comes with this bubu. If you check this bubu very well, you will see that it has an inner like an underwear that is stitched together on the shoulder line. If you check properly from that downside of the bubu that is a bit transparent, you will see that this bubu comes with an inner. An inner like this will be attached to the bubu on the shoulder line. So in this tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to cut that inner that is stitched together with the bobo. So I have already uploaded a detailed tutorial on how to cut this bobo. It's on my channel. It's just the previous video before this particular one you are watching. You can just click on the link that just popped up on your screen. It takes you directly to the video. But in case you miss it from the link, in case you miss the link, check the description box below of this tutorial that you are watching. Then you will see the link that takes you directly to the cutting and sewing tutorial of this luxurious bubu itself. Let's jump right into this particular tutorial. For the inner, I used the same fabric that I used for the bubu, which is jonkoso fabric. You can also use crepe as the inner and the bubu, and at the same time, if you can lay your hands on chiffon that is a bit thick, you can use it as well. Any fabric that is not rigid, that is shaky, like jonkoso fabric, like crepe, like chiffon, they are the best kinds of fabric for this bubu and this inner. And the first thing I did was to check the highest measurement between this person's bust, waist, and hip. It's a hip, and then I measured that hip and I added just 6 inches allowance. I folded this into four, and then I figured out the length. Obviously, the length for the inner has to be shorter than the bubu itself. So from the bubu length, I deducted 10 inches. I made the inner 10 inches shorter than the bubu itself. Then I added 2 inches allowance to the length for folding it down and then for stitching it on the shoulder line. So the next is to divide the shoulder by 2. I divided our shoulder by 2 and I marked that. From the shoulder, I even had to deduct 1 inch. This person's shoulder is 17. Instead of marking 8.5, I marked 7.5. Then the next I did was the armhole divided by 2 minus 2 inches. Her armhole is 21, but instead of marking 10.5, I marked 8.5. Then the next I did was to divide the bust by 4. Then I added 3 inches allowance because this inner is not supposed to be tight in any way. So 1.5 inch is for ease and 1.5 inch is for sewing. Then the waistline divided by 4 plus 3 inches. The hip divided by 4 plus 3 inches. Then I connected these 3 points together, the armhole to the bust to the waist to the hip, and then I just take it straight down like that. I didn't pencil it at all because of ease, so that she can comfortably walk. In fact, when I wanted to stitch this inner, I had to leave one side open so that she can walk properly. So what's next is to cut it out. After cutting it out, I proceeded to marking out the neckline. If you've watched the tutorial of the bubu itself, the bubu that has this inner, you must have seen the part where I said that I put a keyhole at the back of the bubu so that the person can comfortably wear it, like it can pass through the head, because this bubu has a turtleneck. So I have to put a keyhole at the back so that it can pass through the head with ease. So for this keyhole that I put at the back, is this inner, the back of this inner that I'll be using to turn that keyhole. That means whatever neck width I'm using here is the neck width I've used inside the bubu. So for the neck width I used 3, on fold of 2 I used 3, that means I used 6. And for the neck depth I used 1 at the back and 3 at the front. And this was the exact way I used it inside that bubu. If you've not seen that bubu tutorial, please check it out. The link to it is down in the description box of this particular tutorial that you are watching. So after cutting out the back neckline together, since they are both round neck, I had to cut front and back neckline at the same time. Then I proceeded to cutting the front neckline more. The front is 3 inches the depth, while the back is 1 inch. So after cutting front and back together, I still proceeded to cutting the front, and this is what it's looking like at this point. So to cut out that keyhole, I had to place the bubu on top of the back. I mean the back panel of the bubu. If you don't understand what I'm saying, please you need to watch that Bubu tutorial. You need to watch it, the Bubu tutorial, so that you will understand what I'm saying and where I'm coming from. So for the keyhole neckline, I had to bring the Bubu to cut out that keyhole because the keyhole is not really a neckline. You know that opening at the back where you will put button so that dresses can comfortably pass through your neck. You know that opening is what I mean. It's not really the neckline, the keyhole opening. So I had to use the back panel of the bubu to cut open the keyhole for the inner as well. I hope my explanation is clear. So it's that simple, and that is it on how to cut the inner for this bubu. What is next is to start sewing this inner. So to sew this inner, the first thing I did was to join shoulder to shoulder for the front and the back panel. After joining the two shoulders together, the next thing I did was to stitch the armhole together. I neatly folded the armhole with hemming gum. I folded the armhole from one side to the other side, like from one side up to the shoulder line joining and then to the other side. I folded it together with hemming gum for the two armholes. So the next I did after this was to now stitch, like shape. To shape this bubu, all I did was just to use 1 inch to shape it from up to down. So after measuring the armhole, it's not supposed to be fitted like tight. So this person's armhole is 21 and what I even shaped is 23 eventually because this is inner of the bubu, is not a fitted dress, it's not supposed to be tight. So I divided the armhole from the shoulder line by 2. The 23 I want to use, I divided it by 2 and then I proceeded to shaping from that side. So I used 1 inch from up to down. Like I said earlier, I left one side of the bubu unstitched. I left the left side. At the down, I left it open so that she can walk easily. So from the down, since I'll be using 1 inch to fold it down, I made the slit, that opening at the side, I made it 13 inches. So altogether, I left 14 inches unsewn. So when I was coming from the armhole, when I was shaping the armhole on the left side, when I was shaping it, when I got to 14 inches to the whole length of the inner, I had to stop and then I used 1 inch to fold it down. So when I stopped, like that slit that I left open, I had to like stitch it to both sides so that it will be neat. I stitched it to one side and then I stitched it to the other side. I stitched it with hemming gum so that after ironing, everything will come together and then I lose the thread. So for this inner neckline, for the front neckline, I folded it. The front neckline was the only neckline that I folded. Don't forget that I'm using the keyhole at the back to turn the keyhole inside the bubu that has this inner. So I left the back neckline and the keyhole untouched. I left it like that. But for the front neckline, I used hemming gum to fold it. I even folded it with hemming gum. I folded the neckline first before joining the shoulder line. That was the first thing I did as soon as I started sewing the inner after cutting. Thank you for watching. I hope this tutorial has been helpful and useful to you. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please ask me down in the comment section. And don't forget to subscribe. If you're interested in watching the cutting tutorial of the bubu itself, please click on the box on the right side of your screen. And if you're interested in watching the sewing tutorial of the bubu, click on the box on the left side of your screen. And don't forget that the links to all these tutorials will also be down in the description box. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.